Stop trying to figure it all out. Stop trying to figure it all out. Listen, I understand that people have failed you. They've let you down. They've done all this. However, God is not them. And so many of us do not depend on God the way that we need to, because there's that part in ourselves that says, like, what if God does not come through? And I saw it when many of you guys were doing the fast December 29th to 31st. You know why a lot of you guys quit? It wasn't the fact that you guys were hungry. It wasn't the fact that, oh my gosh, I had a headache and all of these different things. You want to know why I know it's not that? Because if I had $10 million sitting somewhere, or whatever victory it is that you're looking for, and you could see it in a glass case, and all you had to do was withstand, right? Go through a fasting period for 3 days, and whatever it is that you desire, that case was going to unlock and you are going to have it. I promise you, you would have found a way to say, screw that headache, screw the pain, screw all of this stuff, because you can see that blessing right in front of you, and you're not going to allow a bowl of beans. This is what I always say. You're not going to allow a bowl of beans to get in the way, right? Esau's so hungry, he doesn't understand his birthright that he has. So what does he do? Oh, okay, no problem. You can have my birthright. Just give me this bowl of beans, because you don't understand the weight of what you're fighting for. You don't see, you've been deprived of it for so long, and you've been without it for so long, right? All your life and generations have been without it, that there's part of you that doesn't even believe that it exists. That's the problem. And you've gotten so good at arguing with yourself that you will talk yourself right out of the faith that you need, that's necessary in order to bring forth that blessing in your life. So now, if you're honest and you say, yeah, Michelle, if I could see it, yeah, I would have been much more motivated to keep going, because I could see it. And I'm not willing to let that plate of food, that drink, whatever it is that you did, right? Hopping back on social media, whatever it is that you did, I would not be willing to sacrifice what I can clearly see for this thing. And that means that you don't have vision, or you lack vision or clarity of vision. Who does vision come from? Vision comes from God. So in order for you to get a vision from God, that means you have to spend time with God, right? But in order for you to spend time with him, you must believe and trust that he is who he says he is, and that when he communicates with you, and when you sacrifice yourself or you seek after him, you're actually going to have an encounter with him that is worth your while. And it's sad to say it that way, but that's really what it is. Ultimately, a lot of people do not think that seeking God in that kind of way is worth their while. So you know what ends up happening? You end up relying on the skewed vision that you have, that comes from trauma, that comes from parents that were in these generational cycles and generational patterns, that comes from society and all of its corruption. And that's the vision that you have for yourself. And you're already struggling with things internally, self-esteem, lack of confidence, lack of self-awareness, a lot of things that you're struggling with internally. And then now you're trying to create this vision from where? No, you're copying somebody else's vision. And this vision that you're prioritizing, you want to know why it's not worth your time? Because look where it has you right now. Whatever is in your mind, whatever is in your heart that you see, right? Because obviously you're not seeing what God says of you, right? The amazing things he has to say about you, the amazing things that he's saying that he has stored up for you. You're not capturing that in your vision. But whatever it is that you have captured and that you're holding on to, that power of that vision, it is obviously not to your benefit, because it has you sitting where you're sitting right now. That vision that you have, it is not motivating enough, because it has you where you're at right now. And this is what you need to be scrubbed clean of. What does he say? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So when you were doing the fast, and when I invited you into the fast, I was already going to do for myself regardless, okay? But when I invited you guys in there, and you guys that took the call, it was so that you can go through your own mental transformation process, so you can get a better and clearer vision. It might take a few times of you going in and seeking God, but so what? So what? Like, if I was in an intimate relationship with somebody and I had to keep going in to get to know them and get to know them and get to know them, isn't that what you guys do? Isn't that what we do? We get on the phone and we cake today and we cake tomorrow and we cake the day after that. Because I'm intimately trying to get to know you and understand you. Isn't that what we do? How many times have you done that and got absolutely nowhere at the end of the day? Even if it wasn't an intimate relationship, maybe you did that with a friendship, a platonic relationship. How many times have you done that, invested and poured all your energy into it and got nowhere at the end of the day? Has that stopped you? No. Many of you guys, if you're honest with yourself, you still want relationship, you still want community, you still want friendship, you still want all of these different things, but you've been disappointed so many times that it might have you in a state of isolation, but it hasn't taken away the craving or the desire of that for you. Just wish you could have it in a way that was conducive. And this goes back to these generational curses and these generational patterns. Oftentimes, it's these generational curses and patterns that you're fighting that is keeping you from being able to have quality relationships, quality friendships, right? Different ways that the enemy still has rights and authority to operate in your life and cause abuse, cause frustration, cause sabotage, cause a certain level of hardness, especially for you ladies that talk about, wanting to live a softer life. Oh, okay. Spiritually, if spiritually you're dealing with something that now has you oppressed and suppressed and is attacking, right, your ability to flourish, and then now you want to live a softer life, how are you going to do that? So when you jump into a fast, the spiritual power and the spiritual authority that is not of God, that's working against your life, right, that has been manifesting in this way, you are breaking that chain. You are breaking that power. That's one. But after you do that and you've done that successfully, that's why when you guys do the freedom prayer has a date, right? You're signing and date it after you write it out. Well, after you sign and date it, there's scriptures all through that. So you're able to go back to God when you see things and you're able to say no, right? According to your word and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is not true. This cannot stand. That's number one. Number two, as you begin to go through that process, once you get the victory in the spiritual realm, you still have to get the victory in the physical, right? You want to see it manifested. But how do you see it be manifested in the physical realm? This is where work comes in. Faith without works is dead. So when you did the freedom prayer or you did the 3-day freedom fast guide, for those of you guys that did the more structured, right, organization of it, and in the 3-day freedom fast guide, what do we have? Day one, you're calling out all those generational manifestations, those patterns, those curses. Day two, you're looking at what needs to be restored. And day three, you're looking at what you're committing yourself to. But even if you go through, whether it's the freedom prayer or that process, that is all still something that you're believing by faith. Your faith now needs to be activated. How is your faith activated? Well, now you have the victory in the spiritual realm. You've gone through the process you need to go to with God, right? You've consecrated yourself. And he, throughout that fasting process, he will do something to let you know. You can ask him for it directly to let you know that you've received the victory. Now that you've received the victory, now, and this is why I fast so much, because I'm like, okay, I got the victory, Lord. Now what do I need to go do? And that goes back to being dependent. That goes back to humbling yourself. Because what many of you guys do, okay, you got the victory and you're like, okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It doesn't work that way. You're in partnership with God, right? This is a co-partnership. So now it's okay, God, you've given me the victory. Thank you. What do I need to go do on this earth, right? If it was a medical thing, he might say, you need to start taking this vitamin and you're obedient to this, right? If it's a financial thing, he might say, okay, you need to go back to school and get this degree and you're obedient to this. If it's a relationship thing, he might tell you that you need to go read these books or you need to go into therapy because you need to work on some things about yourself so you can be better prepared for that thing that you're desiring. He's going to give you work that you need to do to prepare yourself for that thing. So if you have come out of a 3-day fast and you have said that God has given you victory, and if you have not moved into preparation, something's wrong there. You need to go back and have a conversation with your Father, because after he gives you the victory, he's going to begin to now prepare you for the very thing that he's giving you victory for. Guys, this thing is so real. I don't know anything realer than this. So as you can see, we're all in different stages of our walk. So some of you guys, you don't even have the vision yet. Or if you have the vision, you don't have the clarity about the vision. You don't have the confidence about the vision. Well, then your fasting is about that clarity, right? Some of you guys, you have the vision, but you don't know how to begin. You don't know where to start. Guess what your fasting is about? Bringing that to God. And then whatever he says to you, being true to that. Prayerfully acting on the things that he said to you, walking in obedience. The more and more you walk in obedience, guys, it goes back to Proverbs 3, verse 5-6. Acknowledge the Lord in all your ways. Lean not on your own understanding, and he will make even your crooked path straight. When you understand that you are intentionally leaning on him, you're bringing it all to him, you're being obedient, and you felt like you've heard something in faith that he said to you and you're obedient, even if you didn't hear it completely, he will correct your path. And this is why you need to continue to be in communication with him so that you're not resistance to that correction and you're actually able to thank him and glorify him that he corrected you when you didn't hear as clearly as you should have. Y'all. I live this. That's all I can say. I live this. I live it. Anyway, so if you're not aware, January 15th through the 18th, we will be jumping in another fast here, or Michelle's going to be jumping in another fast. Okay. I'm inviting you to do it. I have some personal things that I need clarity about with God. And he really put on my spirit, like January 15th to the 18th, that window. I don't know what kind of fast I'm going to be doing. I want to do a water fast. Last time he had me do a dry fast out of nowhere. I was not expecting that. If I have to do a dry fast, I will, because again, I can see my glass case. I can see my glass case. Do I want to not eat and not drink for 3 days? No, I don't want to go through that. However, I can see my glass case, and it just comes down to the fact there is no bowl of beans that's worth it for me. It is what it is, right? I go through the same thing, the headaches, the frustration, I go through all of that. It's just what I see, I'm willing to sacrifice for it. So if you don't have something that you can see that you're willing to sacrifice for, or in your life, the need you have in your life alone, seeing that should be enough to drive you and motivate you. But again, it comes back to faith. Do you truly believe that God will do it? And then that all goes back to healing, because the reality is that God is not the problem. It's every single person that has done you wrong. And now you're projecting that onto God. Anyways, January 15th to the 18th, that's when I'm going to be getting midnight to midnight. The freedom prayer, that's linked in the bio. That's a free download. Go ahead and get it. If you want a more structured experience, go ahead and purchase the 3-day freedom fast guide. That's $15. It's really going to carry you through this season. And I already have like the instructional videos for each day that you're going to follow in order to be in alignment with that, right? So everything is there, y'all. Everything is there. I'm just going to continue doing the level of breakthrough God has given me. On another day, I'll give a testimony of some of the things God has done. But there is not one victory in my life that I have not received through seeking God, prayer, and fasting. I'm telling you, breakthrough after breakthrough. And I remember when I kept fasting, I was like, oh my gosh, God, I'm fasting. And like, I'll be fasting for this specific thing. And then it's like, I'll get an answer, but I wouldn't get the outcome that I desired. Right. So it's like, I want this outcome, but I didn't get this outcome. Instead, I got like this answer that, yes, it helped me, but I want this end goal. Because I was obedient to all of those small little answers that he gave me, all of those small little answers led me to the major outcome that I desired. I did not understand that God was doing this. That's when I feel like I cracked the code. Like, that's when I felt like I really cracked the code, especially when it comes to prayer and fasting, because I learned that you'll go see God and you'll get a download. And it may not be the bigger picture that you're praying for. It may not be that. But what it will be a piece to the puzzle. It will always be a piece of the puzzle. Whatever he says to you is going to be a piece of the puzzle, and it's the piece you need right now. See, I always think, I'm human. I always think that my outcome, right, what I desire is what I need right now. But it's a piece to the puzzle that I need right now. And I need to prioritize that piece. When the full picture came together and I was able to see it, and I saw all these little pieces that I thought was like, oh my gosh, why does he have me doing all of this stuff? Da, 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 da. And when I got to the end, I saw the big picture, and it's like the big picture. I was like, oh, y'all, the way I fell to my knees, the way I worship him, the way I love on God is so different, because I realized that he's so good. He's so good. He is not leading you astray. When he says, Jeremiah 29:11, that my plans are not to harm you, but they are to prosper you, to give you a hope in a future. When I tell you with every breath in me, he is not lying. He is not lying. But this fast is to really help you get that spiritual awareness, right? Not only break those bondages, those religious bondages, generational curses, patterns, all of that stuff, break the power of that over your life, but really so that the deceptions that you believe in can be exposed to you, the ways in which you distract yourself, the enemy, right, causes you to distract yourself, self-harm, self-sabotage, all that, so that all these things can be exposed to you. So, and it's not for the purpose of condemnation or judgment or anything. It's because God wants you to heal. Whatever it is that you desire, and whatever that purpose is, whatever he's walking you into, there's a lot of things that are in the way. So he's going to expose that to you. Not because he's trying to shame you. No, because he loves you, right? Because he loves you. So let me get out of here, guys. So I love you guys. Everything is linked in the bio. Okay. Everything you need to get started is linked in the bio. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.